Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge, and is it time for Liverpool to part ways with Salah and bring Semenyo in the first week of January? Apparently, sources, lots of news this morning saying that they will do what it takes to bring Salah to Saudi in January. Is there a way back? And as we know, there's a lot of movement around Semenyo at the moment. So is it a logical thing for Liverpool to do to part ways with Salah and bring Semenyo in the first few days? We've also got lots of other stuff around the January transfer window as well. But look, Liverpool last night, Carragher got his way, didn't he? I'll tell you what, I'll bloody love it if we beat Inter tonight. I'll love it. I'll love it more than anything. I'll love it more than any Liverpool win if we beat Inter tonight. And he got his way. I think where Carragher was coming from was that as a fan of Liverpool, he just values Liverpool over any player. And he wanted them to win because if they didn't win, it strengthens Salah's position. And obviously, he's not a fan of Salah at the moment. I didn't watch the game last night. I went to watch Seb's Christmas play, and I'm sure it was a better performance. But it was a big win for Liverpool. But look, they go into the game against Brighton at the weekend. I think Liverpool at the moment just don't look very convincing. And they need, I think when there's a cloud over a club, you need to act decisively. Will he be back in the squad for that game? We'll be reacting to that later in the week. But what they need to do is figure out a way forward. And they can cash in January for Mo Salah. And the question's going to be, does Mo Salah want to go in January? Do Liverpool want it to happen in January? And can they get the funds that they want in January? And the answer is they can definitely get the funds, but it's what you do with those funds. Now, we're seeing this morning that Tottenham have got the money to go for Semenyo. Semenyo can go before the 10th of January for £65 million. Or in the summer, I think it's 60. So you've got till the 10th of January where he can go for 65, or in the summer, he goes for 60. And the reason for that is if he goes before the 10th, it gives time for Bournemouth to get a replacement in January. So the question's going to be, do Premier League clubs go for him? And more pertinently, do Liverpool do something that is probably the most straightforward thing in the world to do in the January transfer window? We don't know whether Arsenal will do anything. Arsenal fans, do you think you need to do something? You've got a good squad, but there's a lot of injuries. Man City, you're doing really well, but do you add anything in? Chelsea, is there something you can do? We'll have to wait and see. But I think teams like Spurs will try and go for Semenyo to back Thomas Frank because they didn't quite get what they wanted in the summer. They didn't get Eze, did they? So I think they might look at that and they might just drop the 65 million, which means Liverpool, if they're interested in this player, he can go to Spurs. He might reject it, but he can go to Spurs. So for Liverpool to do this, I think they're at the point now where they've got to, they want Gehi, they want a centre-back. So if they want to bring another attacker in, I think they've got to bring money in. And that money can come in from Salah. I don't know how much they'd get. How much do you think I don't know. I've not heard anything about that. I don't even know how much Saudi would pay for Salah. I mean, are we talking 20? Are we talking 50? I don't know. I don't know the situation with his contract. I don't know. I don't know what Liverpool would be looking for. But logically, would Liverpool be better at the moment with Semenyo replacing Salah? Well, you've got a player who is one of the better wide players in the Premier League at the moment, who's in his mid-20s, against Salah, who was sort of trying to figure. And again, another question, do you think there's a way back for Salah? Because I've always been, as a United fan, it's difficult, but I've always been of the opinion, and I've said it multiple times here, I think Salah's been underrated over the years. I think it's because he's Egyptian. I think if he was Brazilian, it would be very different. I think sometimes when you're from an unfashionable country, you don't necessarily get the glow up that you do if you're from France or England or Brazil. Same thing with Son. I think if Son was French, again, I think he'd have a higher status. I don't know why that is. I think it's simply because there are traditionally big countries in football and they have great traditions and people just go, oh, it's the next Pele or it's the next Neymar. But look, I think Salah's a fantastic player. I thought Wayne Rooney was a fantastic player, a legend, an amazing player, one of my favourite players. But at the end, I found it frustrating when he was playing for United because, you know, you're only as good as you are. And he dropped off. And there is a history and there is a respect. But ultimately, you know, if you're not good enough anymore, you shouldn't be in the team. And I'm sort of the opinion with Salah that I don't think there's a way back. I sort of think it might just be a drop-off. As we saw with Rooney, I think it might just be that he's not going to be able to do that anymore. In which case, cashing in to bring a younger player in makes total sense. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do, but they're going to have to make their mind up very quickly because Salah needs to want to go. and Liverpool need to want to do the deal, and then somebody will do the deal, and then there's replacements that you can get. So the question is, probably more to Liverpool fans, would you do the deal? But would you do the deal? I'd do the deal. I'd do the deal. I'd do the deal for this reason. I cannot guarantee that Salah's going to hit the form of last season. I also do not think that people are robots. And I think that there's very few people in competitive sport, when they get treated badly in their eyes, that they respect the person who treated them badly, Salah's side, and also Slot's side with Salah's interview. I don't think you've got two personalities there, and they both need to miraculously agree that they've forgotten about it and they're going to be mates again. And I think when somebody stabs you in the back, we're all wary. I don't think there's a way back there. I don't. And also, some people say, well, what if Slot gets sacked and Salah starts playing well? I don't think Salah's permanently not playing well, deliberately not playing well. So I'd do the deal. But what I'd also do is I'd bring in a younger player as well. I think Semenyo for Salah puts a lot of pressure on Semenyo. I'd bring a younger player in as well, because I think Liverpool could take that. You know, you've got Gakpo on one side, Chiesa sort of isn't fancied. You'd have Semenyo for Salah. I think they need another winger. And I know they've got that young lad, Rio, but I'd be looking at Diamonde at Leipzig, maybe a Nusa at Leipzig as well. I think that there are both Leipzig, very good players actually. But I'd be looking at bringing a younger player in as well, where, a bit like what Man City did last January, you know, you bring the Mamouche in, but they brought a couple of young centre-backs in as well, didn't they? And I think Liverpool, you're replacing such a huge legend. I'd replace him with two. I'd bring someone in like Semenyo, and I'd bring in a younger talent as well, where there's not that instant expectation. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. But look, decision time. I don't think they'll use him against Brighton on Saturday afternoon. I don't think they will, because I think it gives them more time. And making a decision now could be a mistake in the future. For example, if they bring Salah back in and put him on the bench, it's all going to be about Salah in a game that will be difficult against Brighton. Whereas if they don't put him on the bench and they go, look, we're still working through this, you just buy yourself a little bit of time. He's off to the AFCON. And Liverpool, I think, from the outside looking in, are a well-run club, which is why this is so enormous. But look, let me know your thoughts. I personally do think that there might not be a way back for Salah. I think this might be a natural drop-off, and hence he's very frustrated, of course, about his treatment. But I do think that, you know, there's an opportunity there. It's a weird one, isn't it? We've had this enormous, amazing outburst from Salah, and then there's a player there that could literally come in. Now, I do appreciate that Semenyo doesn't always play off the right. Play off the left predominantly, doesn't he? But, you know, is Semenyo the right player? Literally, is he a good right-sided player? I mean, from what I remember, I think he plays off the left for Bournemouth predominantly. So does that even work? However, it's still an opportunity, isn't it? Maybe it's not the right opportunity. Maybe there's somebody else. The reality is, I think when you're Liverpool, you can go and buy a player in January, and whatever happens for the rest of the season, if Salah stays, it's only going to be a short-term thing, isn't it? And it becomes such a big story. It's an incredible situation. Let me know your thoughts. We are back live tonight. I will be doing a watch-along tonight. It's Real Madrid, Man City. What a big game that is. I mean, Man City aren't necessarily doing that well in the Champions League table at the moment. So it's a big game for them against Real Madrid, which they really need to get a result in. I'm very excited about it because I think Man City are playing really well at the moment, and it's La Liga against the Premier League again, isn't it? And I just feel that Man City might go there and get a result. I do. I think they're playing well. I think they might go and get a result. I really do. But I think it'll be a good game. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. I'll speak to you on the next one.